So in an earlier video, I went over my decision to go with a 3-channel V-tail configuration, but the reasoning behind that deserves a little bit more explanation. So I've got this crude demonstration here. So here's one of my models that I have on a stand. 2 arrows here that represent airflow. Right now, the plane's just moving forward. Something to note here is the plane has a 10-degree dihedral. Typically the dihedral effect is used to keep the plane stable in the roll axis so that you avoid spiral dives. But you can also use the dihedral effect to bank the plane intentionally with rudder input only. Now, here we have our V-tail configuration, but this also holds for a conventional configuration where you have a vertical rudder and then like a horizontal tailplane. When we initiate a yaw, both of these rudder vaders, as they're called, will turn in the same direction, so that'll produce a yawing moment. And so we're flying forward, right? We have a yaw created. And now, for a moment, the plane is tilted in the yaw axis, but the air is still moving forward. What the dihedral ends up creating is a higher angle of attack on the outboard wing and a lower one on the inboard wing. Lift produced by a wing is directly proportional to the angle of attack until you reach the stall angle, and then it drops off. So what this ends up creating is higher lift on the outbound wing than on the inbound wing. That creates a rolling moment, and the plane begins to roll in the same direction that you yaw. Effectively, yaw control and your roll are linked. This is really nice because if you want to simplify your control scheme or want to cut down on weight, and I wanted to do both of those, you can have fewer control surfaces, fewer motors. It's a way of getting full axis control with fewer control surfaces. Despite this being a phenomenon that you can leverage, many planes still have ailerons. And the reason for this is a couple-fold. In order to have adequate turn response, because you're relying on this induced rolling moment, you need to design something with a high dihedral effect, and that means a high dihedral angle and then also like a reasonably high wing mounting. A level at which you mount the wings relative to the fuselage also contributes to the dihedral effect. So the lower the wing is, the less dihedral effect there is. The higher the wing is, the more dihedral effect there is. There are various different diagrams on stack exchange and NASA forums illustrating exactly why that is. The second reason is because you can't independently yaw and roll. There are many circumstances in which you want to do exactly that. If you have a crosswind landing, a strong crosswind going this way, but say your runway is going this way, well, you want to keep your body frame orientation here, but this crosswind wants to roll you. So what you want to do is have negative aileron on this side and then positive aileron on that side, and then you'll be trimming your yaw to keep you from fishtailing. So that's a situation where you'd want to have independent control. So crosswind landings are hard. Going where you want to go in heavy winds in general becomes more difficult. You have fewer aerobatic maneuvers at your disposal. Some of the really cool acrobatic maneuvers that you'll see some sport planes and fighter jets pulling off, you just won't be able to do those. But for my purposes, I'm not doing anything terribly aerobatic, and I just want to cut as much weight as I can get away with and really simplify the control design. So that's why I've decided to go with the 3-channel.